Hello and a very warm welcome back to the Andrew Eborn Show with me, Andrew Eborn. And during this series, we've been looking at the different ways that people are coping in these extraordinary times. And one of the things that's happening is that a lot of performers are having to do these Zoom shows. So I thought we would go and have a look before the Zoom show starts at how to set things up correctly. I'm delighted to help with that process with Martin Cox. How are you, Martin?
Hello, mate. I'm good. I'm good. I'm just desperately looking for a certain lead. It fell out. Let me see if I can find it.
Oh, there we go. We get somebody behind. See, this is what I love. This is why it's all about the setup. Hello. Hey, it's you again. How you doing? You all right?
I'm not too bad, thank you.
Good. What have you been up to?
Hey, just working as normal.
Wow. So you're working remotely?
I am, yes.
How are you finding that?
It's okay, actually. It's not too bad because it's I've got a laptop from work, got the 2 screens, so yeah, it's not too bad.
Because last time I saw you had all the family there. They're all doing all sorts of bits and pieces.
Yeah. I mean, Sam's at work, daughter's at work, and son's upstairs on his computer upstairs.
Oh, he loves his computer, doesn't he? It's all good.
He does, yeah.
How are you finding the internet connection? Because everybody on the computer at once.
I'm in the way. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, it's all right actually. We've got we're with Virgin, and it seems to be okay.
You'll never have to pay for a broadband again now that you've mentioned their name on the Android.
Oh, well, was I not meant to say that?
Oh, you know you're set up for life. They're going to inundate you with goodies, especially. It sounds wonderful. Right, Martin is telling us how to set up. Before we come on to the magic proper, he's going to talk us about the setup. Talk us through it, Martin.
So I have a camera. You're on the thingy one at the moment. I'll just turn this so you can see the camera really quickly. It's just a little. What am I aiming at here? There it is. Oh, that's not very good, is it? This is great because this lead's not very long. This is very professional. Oh, so there's the camera. That's my camera.
Yeah, I can see that. So this is a bit like Challenge Annika.
With the camera there. I'm trying to get the right angle on it. So it's just a little HD, camera. I have. Oh, there you go. That's what it is. 4K. I don't know if you can see that in the light. Yeah.
How much you paid for it?
So that was that. Oh, I got it off online. It wasn't that expensive.
It wasn't 4K. That wasn't the price tag.
You want the price tag?
No. You said 4K is not the price tag.
No, 4K is not the price tag. It's that's what it is. I can't find the little extension lead I need for it though. That's the problem I'm having. I normally leave it plugged in, and it doesn't seem. It seems to have fallen out somewhere. So I don't know if I can get this round to plug into the computer. I might have to plug it into the back of the computer, which is a bit annoying. Just give me 1 sec. I'll talk while I'm doing it, so you can hear me.
You can talk us through it. It's
right. So
this is
what you have to do.
Get the idea of the setup.
Yeah, you have to plug it in.
We get to see the real workers behind you.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're right there. So I'm going to plug this into the back of my computer. There you go. That's plugged in. Hopefully this will turn on now. Yes, it's turned on now. And I'll switch you over to this camera as soon as it's on. I'm doing this PC. So it tells you what you need to do. The camera does all the work for you. So,
anybody at home, because we're going to get you back to do the magic in a bit, but I just so anybody at home who wants to do a show, because this is the problem, isn't it? It's always the problem. You get the camera, you can interact with this in a way, but when people want to do magic on the Zoom generation, the best thing to do, and I've seen a few people around the world who've done it really well, you set up a second camera and then switch between the two. Is that basically it?
That's it. Normally, if I'm doing a stand-up piece, I will work off my laptop, and that will be in a different room with a different background.
You mean your wife's not going to be in the background?
So the wife might be in the background.
Travel from room to room.
It'll be in a different room, so a different background, and and I'm just making sure everything's on before I switch over. So I've just switched the mic on. I have an extra light as well. So
Oh, that's good. Oh, look at you. Oh, hello.
more light. So when I switch cameras over now, you'll be at this camera, which is over here. So to talk to you, I won't be able to look you straight in the face, because if I
Oh,
do,
what a blessing for you. What a blessing. Well, that's the other thing that people get wrong, isn't it, Martin? When you're looking at how you present to in this new age, people don't know where to look, do they?
that's right. Well, what they because they've got this set up and they're looking at their audience. What we'll do is they'll just keep looking down or to the side, because that's where their audience is. And we're performers, we want to look at our audience. And the biggest thing again is the feedback. So you're not getting that from your audience. You're not getting that feel, because you have to mute everybody. Because if you don't do that, you'll be in the middle of a trick, or you'll be doing something and you'll hear someone go, well, do you want a cup of tea then? Or, you know, well, I told you to shut that door. I'm watching a show. And
But
so,
those have been my favorite moments. We've had people around the world, and we've had the rich and the famous and the big politicians, and it's always the cover up. What they try to do. We had a fantastic scientist, a really eminent scientist, who was being very proper and telling us all about it. And then his little kid came in, Daddy,
yeah.
and you think, it's brilliant. And the worst thing is, Martin, is when they try to shut them up, they try to pretend they're not happening.
Yeah, no, you can't do that. So of course you mute everybody, and then you say a line that you know that's funny and works, but then you don't get that instant gratification for that. So that, you know, it's just really.
So how do you cope with that? What would be your tips? And we've talked about the setup. What would be your tips for trying to get an energy and some sort of atmosphere going?
Yeah, that's the thing. It does take a lot of energy out of you. It really, really is draining. I find it very draining, especially trying to do comedy as well as. So I find that very draining. But I think our mindset has to go into that type of thing where you think you're in an actual TV studio. You might have to get your mindset that way, and realise that you are talking to a big. You're not going to get that instant feedback. Funny thing is that happens on cruise ships.
Right.
On one of the rooms in the cruise ship has monitors, have TVs all around the room, and people tend to go to that show and they'll end up sitting watching the monitor rather than the stage, and they fall into that brain thing where they're watching TV, so they don't respond the same. They're not laughing out loud, because you wouldn't do that unless it's extremely funny. You don't tend to do that, and because there's other people around them, they tend not to laugh so loud, because I think
that's right. You've got that sort of social nicety.
Really interesting, fascinating way of thinking.
So people trying this out, and I say some people do it very well, and some people do it not so well.
Yeah.
What tip would you give? What would be your top tips for people trying to get into this new Zoom age of performance?
I think make sure you've got a reasonable camera for starters, and sound, and make sure you've got obviously lighting, because that's the major thing. If you haven't got extra lighting, then you're going to be in darkness. You've got to watch out for light behind you, from windows, from the side where the light's coming from. So these are just little things that you need. Your background.
Talk about cameras and lights. What tell us particularly what do you use?
Well, I bought all mine online. So the camera came with the extended mic. So it's got its own microphone that you charge up. I'm hoping it's got enough power in it. And then I bought the light separately. I used to have just a strip light that I'd hung on the wall with a white background, so it gave good reflection. But that gives really a good, what you call like a general watch. This is more direct. It's a smaller unit. I just unclip it. I'll show it to you.
Yeah, have a look.
It's quite bright. Let me just tone that down, because it has a toner. So this is it. It's just a little clip thing that I won't shine it directly into the camera, but you can adjust.
It's quite powerful.
Adjust the strength. Yeah, and then you can dull this down if you want to go with a different color. You just flip these over.
Okay.
And then you can have a slightly different. Oops, sorry, that was a bit bright. Sorry, straight the camera. That was a bad idea.
There you
Yeah,
go.
so you can get a different.
And so where did you get that from?
Amazon.
Oh, Amazon. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Roughly,
So,
roughly how much are you spending on your TV at home?
this was just over maybe around 300 altogether.
300, and that's with the camera as well as
camera. I made my own rig for it, so it's actually screwed to the counter, so it's not on a tripod.
Okay.
It's only on a tripod if I'm in the other room.
Yeah.
I just turned the
And
light
you've got a 4K camera. What? Tell me the name of the camera and the spec.
I think it was the cheapest one. It's ORDOR.
ORDOR. Okay.
Yeah, camera, and you've got a remote with it. If you want a remote,
Okay.
you've got a remote. And like you said earlier on about the other thing about people filming, they're showing their hands, but you're getting there. So that's why I always suggest 2 cameras so that you can switch between the 2. I have an extra piece on this camera at the bottom that will hold my iPhone or my iPad, so I can use that as the other camera. So I have 2 cameras here because my actual computer camera is not that great. As you can see, it's not that great. The quality is not that good. So if I'm using my laptop, the camera on that's quite good. So I'd only use the actual big camera and the laptop camera.
And for sound itself, so for sound, Martin, you've got your laptop, but you've also got an extra microphone as well. What do you use for microphones?
Well, that came with the camera.
Right.
So yeah, so it's not an extra microphone. It's the camera. Let me just switch you over.
Yeah,
to the other camera, so you can see the quality.
Oh, I recognise him.
I've just gone out of thing. It should be this one.
Who was that smart chap we just saw? I remember him. Oh, there we are. There's you over. Oh, look at that. You can see the difference.
So there's a big difference in the thing. The other thing is that you see it in reverse. So, but when you show something to camera, I don't see that. You see it in reverse. The other problem is, and a lot of magicians don't realise this, that if you have a dark background behind it, then it's really hard for it to focus.
Right. Okay.
The camera's on automatic adjust, and it's because it's dark, it's trying to flood more light, so it opens the aperture, which means it blurs out your cards. So you have to be aware of that. So it's best to work with a slightly lighter background if you're doing card work.
Okay.
Because otherwise it will just you won't be able to see.
So when you put a card like that, you're saying what? You should have a plain background, or you've got over there like that, so I can see that quite clearly.
Yeah, I'm sort of a bit. Yeah, I'm not really set. I haven't really set my pad up.
But it's good. But the idea is that before you do your show, experiment with the backgrounds. Be aware of the camera angles, and you've got to be your own director, and you're working basically. So you switch cameras and things like that, do you?
Yeah, you can do it all on your. I'm doing it with a mouse at the moment because we're on Zoom. I use Zoom mainly.
What's the software package that you're using to be effectively your own TV studio?
Right. Okay. So I use. I'm going to have to minimise you so I can see the name of it.
Don't minimise. People have been trying to do that for years, Martin. It's okay.
You're too big to minimise. I'm using SOB Studio. I normally go through that. Obviously, I'm not doing that now because I'm directly with Zoom for you, but I generally use that. And the other one is StreamYard. People use StreamYard a lot, but the problem I'm having with StreamYard is that you can't see your audience. So that's why I tend to use Zoom more than anything else, because you can see all your audience.
So when people log in,
sorry about that. I should be facing this way.
No,
that's
no,
the other part. Like
you
do this to talk to somebody, and you're not really looking directly at them.
And so, do you know? Because obviously you're trying to work out which camera's feeling where. Obviously, when you're in a TV studio, you have a little red light which tells you where to look, and you're doing that sort of stuff. You just have to remember that it's this camera here, don't you?
Yeah. I've got to remember that you're talking to me here. Your face is over here. but I have to talk to you if I want to look
Because
at
so
you.
often on the show, I've had people talking to me down here, and you think, well, where are you? What are you looking at? What's more interesting than talking to me? Everything people shout. It's going to be.
So I have a light close-up map.
Okay.
I'll show you that. My own custom close-up. So it's a lighter map, so
Okay.
that when the cameras, because what I generally you see this happen a lot.
Yeah.
Which I think is bad. So that's why you have two cameras.
Yeah.
So you have this one at this angle, and your other one will be for your face.
Okay.
So you switch between the two, so they can see your hands down here. So you can do your, if you're doing a close-up piece, you can do it down here. Yeah. If you're doing, I didn't loosen this off, which is not a good idea. And then you don't get that awkward of the person moving forward to move the angle of the camera. You've already got it at the right.
It just looks a lot slicker, basically.
Yeah. So if you switch between cameras rather than do what I'm doing now, rather than what I was doing there. Otherwise, you'd say you get that sort of awkward shot of someone's lap, which you don't really want. It's not a good look. And
It's not that sort of a show, is it? It's not.
Yeah, if you remember at any time, any training in magic, that they always say that you should be up here. Don't need to see your face. So many young guys that I've taught over the years are all that. They've got that in the bedroom mentality because they're working here. They're looking at their hands, and that's what the audience is seeing is the top of their head, which is not good.
It's all about framing this. If you can hold the up here for the close-up, it makes a big difference, isn't it?
Framing.
Coming up after the break, we're going to do a quick routine where it all pieces together beautifully. And is this one of your new things? You can introduce.
Yeah, this is something. This is just something that, funny enough, I was
over here.
Sorry. Doing it myself, aren't I? Sorry,
this is what I love about it. You can always do what I say, don't do what I do. It's always the best advice.
That's right. So this is just something really. I was having a coffee with a friend, and I have this stand-up joke that I do in my stand-up show. And he said, well, why can't you do that with cards and make it smaller, and so you could do it as a close-up piece? And I came home and I wrote this piece. I had the cards made, and now I'm thinking about putting it out. So
brilliant! And this is the world exclusive coming up.
But it is really, because I've not performed it for anybody.
Never been performed for anybody. What do you call it?
It's called. Well, we haven't really got a name for it. It's called the
Andrew
one card trick.
TV.
One card trick.
One card trick. That'll be good. Well, that's coming up in the next exciting episode. But for now, Martin Cox, thank you for joining me.
Thanks, Andrew. Have fun. See you later.